Hey guys, it's Miles. We're here with Hearthstone, and today we're playing a mage deck, and this is the Jaina Dragonhawk deck, basically where and you can see my deck list over here. So the objective of this is to essentially drop as many Ragnaroses as you can. And while we do that, we're going to talk a little bit about Captain Marvel, which I saw today. And I think hopefully you all have seen it. We'll talk a little bit, and there will be some spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to wait to watch this video until you've had a chance to see it, just so I can give my impressions of it. So I think overall it was a really good movie. I think it certainly was not the best Marvel movie, and I don't think it was even as good as either of the movies last year. I don't think it was as good as Black Panther, nor was it as good as Infinity War. But it was a pretty good movie, and I think in terms of a first movie for a character, it was up there. It was pretty good and really enjoyable. And what it did do, I think, was really make me excited for Infinity War in terms of Captain Marvel, kind of showing her power at the end. They really left her powers out of it for the most part until the very end to really show you how powerful that she was. So I think they were very, very effective in building up to that last third of the movie, where she finally kind of gets set loose and has the ability to really crush everyone else. And obviously, it's an exciting lead-in with the ending that they had in the first post-credit scene where she shows up right at the end of essentially Infinity War. I'm going to drop, so while we're playing this here, I'm going to drop this guy. This is going to be a problem. I probably should have, well, I still couldn't have killed him. I still need to be able to do more damage. He needs to kill another. Well, I can kill him with this next turn if he doesn't get any more health. Or I can Blizzard with the coin. Well, we'll see what happens. But I think it was a really effective movie in terms of showcasing her as a character. I think I really enjoyed the build-up. The Skull Kree War is not, in my opinion, one of the more exciting parts of the Marvel Universe. I think they played it well. It was, pretty foreseeable what was going to happen there. That she was going to turn out to be one of the bad guys. But I enjoyed the fact that Annette Bening was playing Mar-Vell, the character from the comics who, that hasn't really been talked about and had that role. But it was an interesting, for sure, take on Captain Marvel. And I think, again, you just really saw how powerful she is. So, kudos to those folks. Now, in terms of what I'm going to do here while we're playing, I think I'm going to Blizzard them. And this deck is really one that, as long as I can get my Frost Mage out, I should be able to hold up with any sort of Hunter. And we're only at level 18 or rank 18 right now. So a lot of what I'm seeing right now is a lot of Hunter. And this is March 2019, mid-March. So you're seeing a lot of Hunter. You're seeing a lot of... what else has been out lately? Some rogue decks for sure. I've seen a handful of druid decks. There's a pretty good mix right now. Hunter, I think, still is probably the most played, but I think I'm starting to see more of a combination of decks. A lot of priest too is the other deck that I've seen a lot of lately, that I find more difficult to beat. It counters this deck pretty well, unfortunately. We're gonna see if we can just get a little health up here by doing this. So yeah, Captain Marvel, I think for me, where I ranked it, I used Letterbox to sort of rank movies. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. I think it was a very enjoyable movie. It didn't, change my world or anything. It wasn't incredible. I think it wasn't as revolutionary as Black Panther was. To me, Black Panther was maybe the best Marvel movie, just in sort of the storyline it was telling and the development of the characters and what was going on. But I think it was enjoyable. It was a fun movie. It reminded me more of like the Thor movies than some of the other movies. I really like the 90s aesthetic. We're going to drop this guy down here. Let's see. I just want more armor for the moment. And then I can drop this guy here and take out him. I also need to make sure I get my hero damage up because in order to drop Janelal, I don't even know how to pronounce this to be honest. Janelai, the Dragon Hawk there. In order to get it up, I need to, in order for its ability to work, I need for to have done 8 damage. This is just helpful in terms of that. But a lot of this is just stalling with this deck until you can get your lifesteal out. And I have been pretty successful versus Hunter. It's really going to come down to the end game of when he's got his hero power out, typically. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm very, very close to level 20, to 500 wins. In terms of this, so we're pretty close to getting that golden hero, and I'm hoping to hit that in the next couple of days. Let's drop this just to block some stuff, and I'm gonna grab the bodyguard just again to block some more stuff. We'll take out this guy. This guy's gonna be annoying too, but hopefully we can get Frost Mage Jaina out next turn. I'll probably have, let's see, I'll still probably have 15 health at that point, depending on what he's able to play here. But I'm curious what you all thought of Captain Marvel. For me, the best, kind of the cool best scenes in the movie, I would say number one would be, I think her line around, when they say to her, when the AI says to her, "You're only human," and she sort of has the flashbacks. I thought that was a really neat and creative scene. That was interesting. I wouldn't have done that if I was him. I probably would have tried to keep that fledgling alive, but to each their own. I see what he's doing. He's going for more attack, I guess. I probably would have done that differently, but it's an interesting idea. Let me see. So he's got 10. I've got to do 10. And of course I didn't draw any of my... Alright, we're going to do this. 15, still not enough. I didn't draw any of my wave clear, so I didn't get my flame strike. I have literally nothing. My blizzard, my flame strike, my baron, any of the things that I could have used potentially here to slow this down. So tough loss for that one, but we'll try again. I ended up, so typically late game this works well if you can get some wave clear going earlier on. So we'll do one more match here as we sort of work our way through and see what else we can play. But yeah, I think that scene was really cool. We're kind of showing all of her flashbacks of getting knocked down and coming back up, which is really the whole kind of point of the movie. And I think the other cool scene obviously is with the Merkin, and I don't think I'll ever look at a cat the same way as a result of that. So yeah, let's take a look at this next game, another Hunter, and let's see what we can do. So I'm going to try to use this Acolyte earlier to draw more. But again, I've been pretty successful with this deck. I've played it quite a bit to just kind of get a feel for it before I've started recording. And overall, it's pretty interesting. I found it on Hearthstone, and it just seemed an interesting new mage, and I've been trying to get my mage up to golden because I'm only a couple wins away. I'm at 493 right now, so only a handful of wins away. That's going to be annoying. So I'm going to drop my Tar Creeper down. We'll see what we can do. In terms of stuff that was weak in the movie, I think. Again, I think the Kree Skrull storyline, really the first half of the movie, I thought was fairly weak. It was fine. I just am never that interested when it's like some other world or the alien part of the Marvel universe. To me, even in the comics, that was always sort of the boring part of the comics was, when it wasn't something on Earth or it was just some like weird, the Kree Skull thing to me is just like too sci-fi-y. I'm more into the sort of the one superhero or supervillain to face the superhero in those types of movies. But I know that's been played out quite a bit throughout the Marvel thing. So I think the story was fine, but it was nothing like revolutionary. And that to me is what I think it needs to be in order to be like a great Marvel movie. There have been plenty that have been really revolutionary or just overall great. But all in all, not a bad movie. Definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. But I'd love to hear your comments. Definitely throw down a comment down below what your thoughts were around Captain Marvel. But again, for me, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars out of 5. So a pretty good Marvel movie. Definitely worth seeing once in the theaters ahead of Infinity War, and almost a must-see, I'd say, in front of Infinity War because of some of the scenes, and I'm sure she's going to have a huge role to play in that. Take that. Snipe. Yeah, not a huge deal. So early on, the biggest challenge this deck has, as we're talking about this custom mage deck, is if you don't draw Frost Mage Jaina, it's basically over. I've had a couple of games where I've got down to the last 3 or 4 cards, and I still don't have Frost Mage Jaina. That's nice. That actually, oh, I see what he's doing. I probably would have hit that anyway, though. It really becomes painful. So I'm going to throw this guy down and then try to draw another card. So it's all about how you can mill kind of yourself, essentially. You want to draw as many cards as you can between Acolyte, between the Raven Familiar. You want to just pull up as many cards as you can so that every turn you're increasing your probability of drawing Frost Lich Jaina, and then the Dragon Hawk. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see that play out. So we'll see how this goes. In terms of, so for Captain Marvel, where I would rank it, oh, great, there it is. I would say I would probably rank it, oh, how do I want to play this? I would probably rank it sort of in the middle in terms of the overall. This is annoying. I think I'm going to just use this. Yeah, in the middle of the movies, I'd say around, Captain America, the First Avenger, that type of movie where it was good, it was enjoyable, but it was definitely not the best movie. It's not even in the top 5 or 10 for me, I would say. I'd say again, it's just sort of middle of the road, but enjoyable nonetheless. And I think even middle of the road for Marvel is good in general. Alright, so let's get Frost Mage Jaina down and see what we can do here. I think Captain Marvel is obviously going to have a huge role to play in Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, and it's going to be I think, obviously her and Thor together are going to be the two most powerful folks. But obviously, Fury wouldn't have paid, like, they wouldn't have set that up as the cliffhanger, really, at the end of Infinity War if they hadn't been, planning for her to have just some sort of massive role in it. Now we've got him frozen, and feeling pretty good. We'll see if he is able to drop down Deathstalker or Rexar in the next couple of turns. And I've also got a lot of wave clear in my hand, as you can see. 2 Blizzards, 2 Flame Strikes. I got Baron, which has just got huge heal potential with Frost Mage Jaina. And I've got 2 of the cards to set up the Dragon Hawk combo. So basically, once you drop the Dragon Hawk, and I've got 2 Zilorixes, which is interesting. I'm going to drop one of them, I think, because there's not a whole lot else I can do. So basically, you drop down the Dragon Hawk. The Dragon Hawk creates a Ragnaros, and then you can Youthful Brewmaster him back, or you can Zola him back, and it just ends up creating this just sort of loop where you can sometimes get 4 Ragnaroses down if they don't kill any, and if they have some removal, you just keep playing it over and over again. So we're going to start that here. We're going to drop this, and then Youthful Brewmaster back up the Dragon Hawk. And I'm going to just see what it hits, because he's already down to pretty low health, and I want to basically turn the tables on him and kill him as quickly as possible. And if it doesn't go face, it's fine. It kills this off, creates these 2/2s. But if it goes face, then I would have him probably next turn. Let's see what he's dropped. I feel pretty confident at this point. He can't drop Rexar now. I don't know what else he could have that would stop me from being able to really do much. So yeah, okay. Um, I think I'm gonna Flame Strike and then just let Ragnaros do his thing, right? And I'm gonna freeze this. Increases the odds that it's gonna hit one of these two, but those I'd rather have those two than 6/5 that can really do a lot of damage. And remember too that the Ragnaros, because he's an elemental, gets lifesteal. So you've got one lifesteal 8/8 down. You know he's going to do something to try to knock it off. It looks like here, or kill control. But he realizes he doesn't have enough to kill a Ragnaros. So unfortunately for him, I'm going to drop a second Ragnaros. Oh, yeah, so he's going to drop that. So I can either Flame Strike all of these or drop a second Ragnaros. I think I'm going to Flame Strike them. No, I'm going to Blizzard them because then I can get two of them to be mine. And we're going to draw this to hopefully draw a Polymorph. Or Dragon's Fury too. That's the other one other spell I have in the deck. The deck actually, I think the one on Hearthstone has two Dragon Furies, but I switched it for an Alexstrasza. I think that was a change that I made to it after having played it a couple of times. I just found there were a couple of times where Alexstrasza could be a huge help, either if you're playing against a deck where you can't do a lot of damage, or oh, there we go, a concede. You know, if you're playing against a deck where you can't get a lot of damage going, or they have a lot of healing, especially against Priest, which I'm seeing a lot right now, Extraza, with the combination of the Ragnaroses, sometimes you can, you can drop that and then basically kill them with the two Ragnaroses, depending on how it's playing out. So hopefully you like this content. If you're interested in seeing more Hearthstone, more Mage, let me know. And again, I'll post a link below to this deck so you can take a look at it on Hearthstone or Hearthstone. So thanks everyone, and if you like this content, like and subscribe.